as a fuller figured woman, I appreciate this movie more than you know. Um, 20 Pounds to Happiness is just so sweet and very thoughtful and very relevant these days. How did you become affiliated with this?
Oh my God, your kind words. I'm tearing up right now just hearing that because that's the reason we made this movie, honestly, because we know that there's an audience for this and it's such a timely piece. I love this movie so much. 20 Pounds of Happiness is something that came across my desk because I've worked with Josefina for years. We've actually done several projects together, and she's always sending me scripts. She's written so much stuff, and I'm a big fan of Real Women Have Curves. I actually had auditioned for it years ago, and I was one of the runner-ups to play the lead role. So I've actually been waiting 20 something years to work with her at this caliber. And so when I read this script, I just was like, oh my God, I love Carrie so much. I'm like, I have to play this role. And she actually not just believed in me to play the role, but she was like, I think you should direct it. And I just looked at her and I said, okay, sure, let's do it. Because that's the kind of relationship we have. She can be like, let's go make a movie on Mars. And I'll say, okay, when are we going? You know, it's just one of those things. She's just such a visionary. And um, yeah, I just fell in love with the script and I said, do to make this happen. You know, we had just come back from a trip in Equatorial Guinea, Africa. We were sent
Wow,
by the US Embassy to go teach filmmaking over there to the youth. And it was such an amazing experience because it's such a beautiful country and everyone there wanted to learn filmmaking, but they had no resources there. We didn't even have internet.
I'm
And the
sure.
camera that they had was stuck in Spain. So we ended up shooting on our cell phones, you know, and just coming back from that experience and changing the lives of so many people that, you know, we just inspired them. We said, you know what, we can do anything. Let's go back and make a feature film since we have way more resources than we thought we had, you know?
That's amazing. And I love the women of this support group. Did you all spend much time together to sort of flesh out that bond you would have? Or did you just find it instantly when you were on screen?
Well, I mean, it depends on which character you're talking about because some of them I had worked with before and some of them I had just met. And so the casting process was it was a really fun process, but it was very grueling in the sense that we had a lot of callbacks, we had a lot of chemistry tests. There was certain casts that it was like we were either going to go with cast A or cast B, and it would have been a totally different movie, but you know, it's just so much talent. I think there was about 13,000 actors that auditioned for every single role, like in total. And so the casting director, Julian Ortega, he really had to just, you know, take a look at it and he was like, wow, there's so much talent here. So it really came down to the chemistry tests. And I love improv. I love working with theater actors. And even though we stuck to the script, for the most part, I really, in the audition process, really love improving just to kind of see what the chemistry's like. And that's when I knew I was like, okay, these women look like that, you know, they're best friends already. We just had that chemistry, you know? And yeah, I just loved every single character in this movie that I was like, we have to find the right people for this, and I feel like we accomplished that.
There's so many beautiful moments to this movie. Are there ones that were harder to bring from page to screen?
You know, without giving away spoilers, I have to say the breakup scene was probably one of the
Mm.
hardest scenes I've ever had to do. And such a delight as an actor to really go there because it is a comedy, but there's a lot of dramatic moments as well. For me, comedy comes from great drama and just being authentic and real in that moment. But what made it really hard was that, you know, as a director, I have to tell a lot of people on set what to do. I have to, you know, I know what I want, you know, I know how to get it. And so I have to really be in charge, which is the complete opposite of this character, Carrie, who's, you know, I love her. She's adorable, but she's very insecure and she doesn't know what she wants and she's just kind of afraid to speak out. So just going from that moment of like, okay, this shot, you know, framing, you know, just giving all the notes to everybody to like action and then going into this breakup scene, which I mean, I don't know anybody that has never been in that kind of situation, whether someone's crying to you, please don't leave me, or you're crying to that person, like, please don't leave me. I think, you know, when people watch this, it's just a very cringe moment.
Mhm.
And that's how I felt this making, like being in that moment for that scene. It was just so cringy. And every time I watch it now, I cringe and I'm like, ah, and I was there. But I'm like, it's so painful, you know? And yeah, that was the hardest scene, honestly, to, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Is there a scene then you're most proud of the work you put into it as an actress?
To be honest with you, the musical sequences. Josefina is someone that since I met her, she inspires me, but also elevates me. There isn't anything that she doesn't think I can do, which I absolutely love to have that kind of support. And so, music is something that has always lived in my life. My father was a musician, and I did musical theater in high school. I actually wrote a three-act musical. So, music is something that was really important in my life. But then, as my father and I kind of had our own issues, we kind of, parted ways for a bit. I had a lot of healing to do, and I just got away from music. I really just got away from it. And so when she presented me this project and was like, well, okay, you're gonna sing. And I'm like, I am. I'm like, okay. So she kind of like pushed me back into music. And now I absolutely love it. But it was very challenging because I hadn't used my voice as a singer in such a long time. I did do a musical touring show for 15 years, but that was a long time ago. So I have to say that was one of the hardest things to do was to go back to it. But I'm very proud of it because now I can be like, of course I am doing music. My father was a musician, which just tells me that I healed, and that's the power of storytelling. It really does have that power to heal all kinds of issues that people are going through. And I feel like this movie's really going to do that for a lot of people. I'm hoping that it does that.
I mean, I think it's a beautiful lesson for us to learn. You don't have to choose between love and friendship, no matter what size you are. This is something we should want for all of our friends to find. And the fact that it just is about a plus size woman, I think is so relevant, as I said to you. And I'm hoping that people will begin reaching out to you once they see 20 pounds of happiness and telling you how they relate to it, or that, it gives them hope. Um, and I think that plus size equality and dating and stuff is becoming so much more relevant these days.
I mean, we just screened it at Cannes and we had such a great turnout and the audience really loved they loved the movie. They were actually singing at the end of the movie, which is hilarious to me because I was like, "Oh my God, don't talk about your ex." Everybody was singing that at the end. But it's such a feel-good movie and that's really our goal is for people to come to this movie, enjoy themselves, find joy, find happiness and really go within themselves to say, "You know what? I am enough." It doesn't matter what social media says. There's all these filters, people are getting surgery. Especially being in Hollywood. I mean, I've been in Hollywood for a minute and it doesn't matter what size I am in Hollywood. I'm always going to be plus size no matter what, that's just, I have curves and I love my curves and I love to eat. I also love to be healthy. And so it's one of those things that with this movie, I feel like it really just captures all those messages of just like inner love and just acceptance, self-acceptance, and not
Cool.
caring what social media says because a lot of the times it's like, yeah, you look perfect, but you also have a filter, It's like,
I
I
think
mean, I'll
that's
look like that too with the filter.
what's next for you? Have you been busy working on any directorial or acting projects?
Well, actually, this has been we just finished it recently for the Cannes Film Festival, and then we're screening at La Leaf on Saturday, which is our world
Wow.
premiere. And we've actually been working on another project called Hollywood Chola. Again, going back to my musical roots, which I'm just so excited for, especially since Josefina shows on Broadway right now. I was there for the opening. It's amazing. If you find yourself in New York, please go see it. Real Women Have Curves, the musical. So we're working on this project called Hollywood Chola. And it's a one-person show, which I just recorded 12 songs of an album, which we hope to drop in the fall. And it's basically about it's semi-autobiographical, my experiences in Hollywood, being typecast as a chola, which, agents and managers love because that means you're working. Whenever they need, the stars of a show to be told off, they'll call me for the chola. At the same time, there was a moment in my career where I got really tired of doing the same role. I was like, we're not monolithic. We're not just this character. And then the second that I let it go is like I got this big project as a lead in a film with the opportunity to actually show that I can carry a film. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm okay being a chola, but I'm going to tell it from my perspective, from my point of view, and I'm the Hollywood chola. So that's a really fun project that we're working on right now. And I've been in the studio recording and hopefully that'll be out in the fall. And then we're also starting a film school, hopefully in the fall as well. So we've been really, really busy doing that. And just we also we work with a program. We're actually and they call us envoys. The U.S. government sends us out to different countries, Spanish-speaking countries mostly, that don't have resources to go and teach filmmaking. And that's something that I'm really proud of, and I love doing that work. That's really what inspired this movie, was that Josefina and I were in Equatorial Guinea
You
and
mentioned.
with no resources. And we said, We can do that. We can do this. You know?
Very relevant these days. I'm so proud of the work you do.
Thank you.